I can say that on the other side of fear is realizing what you are capable of. So, how did I go from a stay at home mom to a full time public advocate who was giving speeches in front of crowds and in front of cameras and interviews on TV and fighting for causes and creating change? And I want to say this, and I'm not degrading myself. I am not special or extraordinary. I didn't have some kind of abilities that others do not have to be able to do those things. The one thing that I did was have fear and finally face those fears instead of running from my fears, which is what I often did. I decided to go towards the fear. And I remember the first time I was going to give a TV interview in 2016 to try to educate our state on the fact that they were planning to decrease life-saving healthcare services for thousands of kids like Sophia. I did so full of fear, and I wasn't fearless in any of the things that I did. I was full of fear, and I did them anyway. And so I remember they were on their way, and I was just panicking and trying to think of ways to cancel. I cannot do this. We had chosen to live a private life in a safe space because people were unkind to Sophia when we would take her out into the world. And it was another fear and pain that I chose to not face. But it was that moment they finally showed up, and I said, I have to do this, put my fears aside, because I need to fight for my daughter. And that was one thing that I knew how to do and knew how to do well with healthcare companies denying her care and those types of things. I was always like, hell no, she's going to get what she needs. And so I guess I did have practice with that. But I gave the TV interview, and when I watched it, I did a pretty good job. And I, along with other mothers, fought against the changes and stopped it from happening within 6 weeks, and worked with state officials and would have meetings. And facing fear made me realize that I was capable of doing that. And then in 2017, when the healthcare fight was a national healthcare fight to protect healthcare for millions, I was asked to fly to DC with a 2-day notice, write a speech, give a speech at a press conference on Capitol Hill with U.S. senators standing by my side in front of cameras and people. And I said yes. And then I said, what the hell are you doing? You've never written a speech, never given a speech, never been at a press conference, never done any of these things. I'm not capable of doing this. And then again, I said, to hell with my fear. I'm going to feel the fear, and I'm going to do it anyway. And once I stood up at that podium, I realized that I felt fine. I felt at home standing on a podium, giving a speech. And again, it was me facing my fear and realizing that I was capable of more than I had given myself credit for. And that would happen time and time again, and giving speeches on a larger scale and giving dozens of TV interviews. And over time, it was kind of like going to the gym. You build a muscle, and I was building this courage and realizing that I was capable of doing more than I had ever imagined. So I tell you this because if there's something that you're wanting to do that you're afraid to do, that you might fail, or you are viewing fear of something as a signal not to do it or allowing it to stop you, I can say that on the other side of fear is realizing what you are capable of. So I just thought I would share that because I know that after my daughter died, I continued my work, but then I wasn't having to practice that courage. And I started to find myself saying no to things that would feel fear, and then that started to take back over. So if you're not constantly practicing facing fear and courage, then I feel like sometimes it can become easy to hide again from that. And I just wanted people to know that even if you've never done something in your life or don't know about it, that you can always learn, and you can always become capable of doing many things that you never thought were possible.